Three, two, one. Maria, quit laughing. You don't have lettuce in your teeth. Hey, Lions. This is Bill Watkins once again at Atelier's Chocolatier Coffee Shop Cafe. They're feeding me while my condo is being remodeled. I have absolutely no place to work, no quiet place, that's for sure. So excuse the background noise. I'm joined today by Maria Carver, who's been, Maria, I think you were the first team member at the Lions Pride.
I sure was.
So we were a band of three, pioneering out towards where no man and woman had ever gone before. Who knew what we were doing back then?
I know, and then you go, Sam. I was like, who's this person?
But you're nuts. What do they want to do? So listen, Lions, what we're going to talk about today is the power of design, branding, marketing, related to the most important thing, which is sales. Now, marketing brings you a pre-qualified and a pre-motivated, a pre-interested prospect, and of course your sales process converts them into a paying client. What Maria is really good at is helping us with both. And so I'm going to let Maria introduce herself right now, but what you are listening to is a design expert who has the skill of not just only making beautiful design, but making beautiful design that makes sense to a business owner, a beautiful design that is successful at marketing specs and then converting those prospects to sales. So Maria, the next 3 hours are for you to talk about yourself.
Well, I don't like talking lots, but I can draw nice pictures about myself. But basically, in a nutshell, yeah, stick me. Well, basically, in a nutshell, what we do is we have a little design studio, and we work with clients who make a difference. So we do our best work for clients who are like, just trying to make the world a better place. They don't get out of bed and want to make more money. They get out of bed and they want to do things in a way that really makes an impact in the world. And our design philosophy is very much simple is better. We don't do trendy design. We don't do kind of decorative design. All our things are very simple and very functional. Because if it's not functional, then what is the point, in our opinion, from a business point of view? I understand if you want a poster on your wall and, make that decorative, but it needs to be functional. And if design is not in your business bringing you clients, then, it's broken. There's no function of it then. Then it's just decoration, so it's worthless. So, and it's been great fun doing that with the Lions since the beginning, because, you started this new thing and nobody knew. And you had a wonderful, ideal client that we've been working on, and it's been a great journey pursuing Mike and, finding out what he likes to look at and what works and how that brings him towards us.
Well, let's jump into Mike in just a second. Let's start, Maria, with how do a business owner is concerned about revenue and profits. Oftentimes they're not designers. So how do you advise them on the power of design? How do you bring that to their awareness that design can make a difference in the economics of their business? And then what are the 1 or 2 steps that you guide every implementation? One important it is.
So design for your business always starts with your client. So a good example is a client that we once had that we did a brand for. He was a personal trainer, and most of his clients were women. And he loved black and red and these powerful masculine colors, and that's what his brand was like. And he was just not, the ladies were just not loving it. And we rebranded him and made him purple. And when we showed that to him, he was like, ugh. And then we explained to him, this is not about you, it's about your clients. If your clients connect with your branding, with the way it looks, they're going to be attracted to you because it shows that you understand them. No, it's because your design, yes, it is about you, but it's about the conversation between you and your client. So, that's usually where we start with our clients. We always ask, we never just jump in and design something. We always ask, who are you talking to? Where are you in the market? And then what are your values? So if you can connect all of those things in the way you look, then, things will start working together. And it can be very simple, starting obviously with your colors. So, if you have a feminine audience, don't use very aggressive reds unless that's their thing. Because we have clients who have female audiences who use red. But, understand you're not going to hit a grandma with some crazy red. So in the same way, if you're going to work with lumberjacks, you're not going to hit them with pink either, not usually. And then the same thing goes with your font. So, if you're going to work with younger people, don't use an old font and never use Comic Sans. So, and look, if you're going to design something, if you've never designed a Facebook ad before, go and look at Facebook ads. Just Google them and see what's out there. See what's, what works, because the internet is a great resource for design if you don't have a designer on your team. Just go out there and look instead of just winging it from scratch. So, and then once you've established that look and keep, obviously test your look. It's just like anything on your business. It's like your funnel. You have to test it with your audience. And then when you have it, you need to speak that language across your whole business so that when somebody looks at anything, it speaks to them. So you can't have like your business card looking one way and your website looking another way. It needs to be all the same thing. And a very easy example of this is Apple. We all know what Apple branding looks like. When you look at it, you know what it is, and it makes you feel a certain way. And you need to pursue that in your own business using your own brand. If that answers the question.
So, yeah. And you and I are going to walk through the process that we went through. But what I want to do right now, Maria, is let's say we have a business owner sitting here. They've taken a few minutes out. They're sitting here on Facebook Live. They've got a million things to do. They have the pressure of owning the business or in leading the business. And they go, yes, Maria, I get it. How do I find somebody like you? So if you were to advise a business owner, you said, in case you don't have a designer on your team, let's say they don't, whether it's a W-2 employee or a 1099, how might they find one if they finally want to change up what they've been doing and get somebody like you on their team? Of course, we're going to help them find you later in the broadcast, but what if they want somebody in their hometown, or what if they want somebody in their state? And how would you go about that?
Well, generally, I mean, any graphic designer worth their salt has a decent website, so you should be able to find them online. I think it's not hard to find graphic designers. It's hard to find the right graphic designer. And the way you find the right graphic designer, in my opinion, is you see if your values are aligned, first of all. Because some guys really want to, pursue the money and sell big things and go crazy. And other designers are more like, they only work with nonprofits. And you need to find a designer on the spectrum that speaks your language and has the same goals and values as you. And then ask them for their previous, what they've done and what the results have been from their previous projects. Because anybody can still make something look good, but not every project makes an impact. So if they make something nice, sure, but if it didn't sell anything, then you want somebody who has the chops, who can prove that they can deliver on what they've done. Also, ask around. Maybe you're in love with this designer and they make amazing things. You can't wait to get them on your team. But go and, they will have their clients that they've worked for on their website. Get in contact with them and ask them, what's this person like? Because maybe they're nice at the front, but the way that they they might not be a good communicator, or they might only work via email and not be willing to be on video or something like that. So talk to their clients as well about what they are like, and then, you know, if they're a fit, it'll be a good fit. It's important that it is a good fit, because it's such a, you know, I don't want to actually use the word subjective, but it is a subjective, you know, kind of job that you need to be in sync with your client to deliver the best kind of product. Like, if I didn't care about the Lion's Pride, I could still deliver work for you, but it wouldn't be, you wouldn't feel the passion that I do have for it. So, and that's what you want in a graphic designer.
I think, Maria, I experienced this with one of the Lions Pride last week. They were digital product, Facebook ad page, and they do have a designer, but the designer is doing beautiful things, but the designers never worked in the digital space in the sense that they do landing pages on. So they got the design. Date was last Friday. They got the design on Monday. The entrepreneur, the Lions Pride member, worked to up into ClickFunnels, and I know you do that for us. He didn't have somebody to do, so the designer just gave him the design. He reached out to me, frenzy and panic, context, and ClickFunnels out some back-end CSS coding. This design standard platform, you need a ClickFunnels to go in, and so we found they couldn't get it up on Friday. They did get it up on Saturday, and I just talked to them, and they're going to launch. But here's the thing: in communicating, they understand the entire ecosystem. Actually, this is a question to you rather than you can't just keep the designer here doing design. The designer has to understand your whole business. Would you agree or not agree with me? Then how do you work with your clients? How should a business owner engage with their designer and pull them in so that the designer understands that there's something that's going to go on, I don't know, a WordPress or on a printed, whatever the communicate to your clients? How do you do that?
So we start every single project with like understanding where it's going to end up. Like, because there's a long road between where something gets designed and where the client actually sees it. And so we make sure, because it's, when you just start out designing, you quick to jump to assumptions, and you work in like a space that's comfortable for you, and you don't always think to ask. We think it's the designer's responsibility to ask the client, where is this going to go, what software is it going to be in, etc., etc., etc. And then also it's their responsibility to be upfront and say, hey, I can't design in ClickFunnels. I've never worked there, but I can refer you to somebody else who can do it. And be honest, rather than create a problem because you don't want to admit that you don't know what you're doing. But also, you know, for a business owner, you can circumvent that by always, when you want something from a designer, more detail is better. Tell them everything, even if you think it's not, you know, their area of expertise. Tell them everything. This is going to be printed, it's going to be packed and shipped, and so that they can expect the problems that are going their way, because design is problem solving. That's all it is when you break it down. So just always be very clear where their work is going, so that they know, and you can kind of go around that project. If you work with an experienced designer, they will know, and they will know the questions to ask you. So, yeah,
and I think the conversation I had with our Lions Pride member was, you know, lots of times we we business owners, especially when we start off as new entrepreneurs and we have limited capital, we end up choosing we make the trade-off of less experience and less cost. And then sometimes we end up spending double or triple the amount of money on the overall project. Could have had that I've been there, done that. I know the right questions to ask you, which you're talking about now. You're presenting a very mature way that a designer would engage with their client to ensure optimal success. Experienced designers wouldn't know to ask all those things, and that's what I experienced last week in trying to help our Lions Pride guy get to his launch without as much stress, worry, and chaos as he was experiencing on the Wednesday afternoon. So let's shift gears if we could. You know, we just went through an exercise where we produced a brand playbook. I think this is a great model that our listeners, our viewers can model, can make a few notes so that something like this, and you did a world-class job on this, so I want to give you lots of this credit. Created what you told us was necessary in communicating across all channels to all providers, all contributors, the consistent parameters of our brand, both in writing, both in visual. So can you show everybody that beautiful piece you created, and then we'll kind of dive into it in a little bit of detail so everybody can produce their own?
Yeah.
So it's the Lions Pride brand playbook, and take it away, Maria.
All right. So, this is the brand playbook. It's that thick, and if you are serious about your business, you will have something like this. Just as a side, this is guys like Apple and Twitter have these, and they're actually like seriously thick and very, very strict. So this is not an unusual thing. If you've never heard of one, go and Google them, read up on them. It's a great tool. And what this is something that if you work with any kind of vendor or you bring somebody new on the team, you give them this and it empowers them to very quickly know what you're about, know how to talk to your clients, whether it's, through a picture or through words. So it's a really, really great tool. And this was I just made it pretty, but the whole team put it together. Everybody put in the content. I just made it look kind of nice. So, and we've got the founders of our mastermind on the cover because it's all about them. It's not about us. So the playbook has several sections, starting with like a little summary of just, who we are. So it's like a little quick reference guide. And then each one of them, they jump into like in-depth, very in-depth, like the company guidelines. And these are things like what we believe, what our values are, what is our huge vision and our mission. And then small things like our identity. You see there's a whole bunch of these like where we strive to be world-class and nothing less, but we won't let perfection hold back our progress. So it's just a guide on everything we do. And there's a little bit about Paul and Robert. Then we skip to the next section. Oh yeah, this is kind of cool. This is a nice exercise that you can do for your own business. It's we are and we are not. You can see there, the one green one is we are. And this is a good statement where you want to differentiate yourself. You say we are, people who show up every time. We are not posers, for example. Let's go to the next section. So there's communication guidelines. And these are, generally what people think of when they think of a brand guide. So it is our voice, how we speak to our ideal client, but also what we look like. So a couple of guidelines on. Let me show you if this is our Instagram channel, for example. So if you're going to design something for the team, that's what it needs to look like. If it doesn't, then you're off brand and people are going to go, what? When they see that. Because everybody who follows you on your social media or comes to your website, they get used to the way you look. So, if you go to Apple's website and they have something on there that doesn't look Apple, you're immediately going to go, what? Have they been hacked? What's going on? And then At the end, we've got marketing guidelines, and this is just to help you like understand the process of, you know, when we market a product to our ideal client, where do we start? And, you know, you would think for graphic design, this is not very important, but it is always, you know, important to remember where, you know, something will fit in and where where things are going in the end, because design is just part of the whole funnel that we have.
Well, let's jump back to two pieces. I know you've sat in on one of my accelerator sessions where I was leading some of the Lions Pride members through what we call the top level, the 70,000 view, but a business establishing our purpose and our mission and our bold beliefs and our core values. And that first section in the company, I think, is probably one of the in your mouth, but it's a key part of the design, because the bold beliefs and the core values establish the box, the boundaries around what your business and your marketing is going to look like.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I absolutely believe that. Yeah. So, you know, we said we believe in better men, and better men build better businesses and families, and better businesses and families build better communities build a better world. Yes.
And in essence, we're building a better world one man at a time. And that, you've done such a nice job in imbuing that. That's a big word. I never thought I'd use that since high school. Embedding that, I don't even know if imbuing is a real word. It's too much coffee in my brain. But embedding it in our design so people see the concept of better. We're all about better. And they feel that with your colors and the font you've selected, that they feel when they're sitting there visually, they feel that they're part of something. That's what I think. I'm not a designer, but you are.
No, that is absolutely true. I mean, that's what we've done. If you just look at the fonts just on the cover page, like we've got this we recently rebranded the company a bit to freshen up the design. So we've got the sans serif font here, and it's very bold and very strong and very masculine. So guys immediately look at this and say, this is nice. You know, this doesn't feel old or neglected. It feels like, you know, very strong and very us. And the colors are, here we have the colors, the three main colors then with the yellow. So it's a very gentle palette. It's not something that's going to smack you in the face, but it's kind of calm and confident. It kind of looks like mountains, and, you know, it looks solid without being too hot or too cold or too serious or too playful. It's just right. It's where we are, because we are fun but not funny. And that's one of my favorite things about this company, is like we're real, but we're not ridiculous. So I think we hit the colors just right, and the fonts too.
Maria, let's talk about two where we talk about Mike.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike, for all you viewers out there, Mike is our ideal client, what we call our avatar. And we actually have a chapter dedicated to the story of Mike, his biography, and in some cases his autobiography. We're deep into his, yeah. So it's all about Mike. It could be a book that could be sitting on our respective shelves of guide, where this is interested in our business and who benefits from it. Now, Maria, we knew Mike, but he doesn't appreciate funny. It's not like people with dumb things. Very, very busy guy, great accomplishments in front of him, and he's a little but he doesn't sign on to the Lions Pride to get jokes. He does anyway. And finding Mike, that's a year and a half maybe, and realized all design pieces that would resonate with Mike. You said calm colors, not needs certain words, not other words. I think the exercise to define brand refresh that was consistent with who would be looking at our content.
Sorry, I lost you there for a second, Bill. Would you ask a question?
Would you agree that the work that we did with Mike set up the actually resonated with Mike?
Yes, I believe so, because when we started the business back a couple of years ago, we had a vague idea of Mike, but as we really dove in and came to understand who we're talking to, and I actually got to meet some of the men that you work with, it really became apparent that the business needed to go in a very specific, the look of the business needed to go in a very specific way, because we were feeling a little bit old-fashioned and a little bit conservative, which is not us. I mean, we're serious about what we do, but we're not conservative. So the new look reflects the man that we work with, which is a modern man who lives in 2017. He's smart, he's savvy, he has technology, he lives fully in this world. He's not he wasn't born in 1902. So a lot of them are my age, in fact. So part of the thing was the branding had to look good for me, because I'm the age of the younger Lions Pride members. So it definitely made a difference that we had a very good understanding of who this person was, and we could also talk to these men and say, what do you think of this look? Do you like this color? Do you not like this color? And, from that, be able to build something that they love. And when we launched it, people were going crazy for it on social media. They're like, can't believe it looks so good. They love it. And that's great, when somebody says your brand looks great, not even your product or this or that, just the way you look makes me feel happy. That's what you want. Because that, if you look at something and it doesn't make you happy, then what's the point? So, and then that also engages them.
True. And
sorry, it engages them, and then,
go ahead.
When they look at something, it's the same way that when you look at something like Apple, you look at it and it makes you feel a certain way, and therefore you attach value to the product associated with the look, and you're willing to commit to that brand for life, or even just for the first time, because the way that it looks says something about you and says something about the way that the company operates.
Maria, I wanted to point out that you did not follow on this brand project. So you were with some of our key participants in the Lions Pride, men who were really leaning in heavily into benefiting from what we do here and from each other. You were leaning into all our team members. We've got a team of about 12 or 13 or 14 active weekly contributors across all channels of our business. So you were engaged with them. You didn't just design this and then launched it and say we're done. What you were doing is you were iterating, you were absorbing their team members from Lions Pride members so that the design was in sync with everything that your senses was bringing in.
Yeah.
And I would encourage some to understand design is not a silo. Design is a dynamic part of, okay, maybe it's not part of your financial statement. I don't know, part of your computer software coding. But generally speaking, everything else about your business has a design component, and you need to have a designer who's capable of communicating with your clients, your prospects, and your team members. And Maria is that.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Very sweet.
Now, Maria, let's just. I want to wrap up. Let's summarize so that chapter title, quick synopsis of what our viewers need to do so that they can produce something. Let me just say this. We're over 4 years into this project at the Lions Pride. We did not have this book when we first launched the business. It's an iterative process. What we do is resolve it. It's not perfection. Now, we even said to ourselves, we're going to produce this book, but we're going to, and then we did. And we'll make it again next year. But you just need to make a start. And the way to make a start is to own your own brand playbook, professional football playbook. These are called, this is how you will call the play for your next project. Brand playbook. We stole it from great football teams like the Patriots. Maria, what's?
Oh, sorry. The first chapter is company guidelines, and then
so this is where you're going to establish your bold belief, your purpose,
the value,
the audacious goal, thanks to your values, and all these things. The sandbox that you make this and that you operate in, it'll be the core platform for your marketing. And then chapter 2 was?
All about Mike, so his interests and his characteristics.
So if you tell me your customer from 18, man or woman, breathing or not breathing, then you have to be very specific on who you are writing to, communicating to, who's going to buy your products in an ideal basis.
Yes. Chapter 3 is your communication guidelines, and this is not just the way you speak to your client, but it's also the way you look to your clients. Everything that you say, everything that your client touches that says, this is the Lions Pride. So it can be anything from a business card to a box to a birthday card to a website. Everything is communication, and everything needs to say the same thing.
Last chapter? It's
marketing guidelines. So how are we going to sell ourselves to this particular client using our values, what we know about our client, and how we, speak what's our language. So it's like wrapping the whole thing up.
So let's wrap it up. I think our viewers have importance of design. Steve Jobs sure did realize the importance of design, and so have other world-class companies. Though you may run $1 million or $100,000 business, just choose to intentionally make design speak to your prospects and speak to your clients. You're going to be ninja level like Maria. Actually, how we chose, we were vetting out design of Maria, and to do something for us in the vetting process. Oh, we want to see my ninja skill. She sold us with that. So back. So Maria, in case our viewers in touch with you, how would they find you? How would they introduce themselves?
So our business is called Monkey Dog Design, and you can just find us there, monkeydogdesign.com. And we usually make the first contact by email, and we love to hear from our clients what their project is, what their mission is in life, and then that's usually how we connect with people and can do our best and find the clients that we want to work with. And whenever we get a referral from somebody, we love it when they say, oh, this person sent us to you, and they're great. Then there's an immediate relationship. So if somebody on this call wants to talk to us, just say, hey, I saw you hanging out with Bill on Facebook, and tell us all about how you're changing the world, and maybe we can work together.
So, series in business building live casts, we choose from the best find. Most of the top business world are on our team. Am I in? No, just kidding. But whether they're on our team or we through traveling around the world, I intend to bring you experts on the topics. Now, with this will be the last cast that we do this week because I'm to climb a Mount Moran. Should be summiting that this weekend, and so you won't find me after Wednesday. Friday live cast has been postponed until next week. Maria, thanks a lot. Business owners, I want you to reach out to encourage you to own your design, and I want you to find an engineer like Maria herself. You'll never regret it, and your business will increase substantially. We've had Lions Pride members just put another simply by making some small tweaks to their design and them to. Thanks a lot for listening, Maria. Wow. Blew us away again. Your best to everybody in our audience, and thanks for tease us. Thanks a lot, everybody. Now listen, what a rock star you are, that you delivering your impact and roaring loudly in your jungle is how we're going to go out and choose that and do it. Good day.